Hello, friends. Welcome to English Through Stories. Today, we will dive into the incredible journey of one of the most famous leaders in history. This is the story of Alexander the Great, the young king who built one of the largest empires in the ancient world. Stay with me until the end, because this story is full of lessons about courage, vision, and determination. Story introduction. Alexander the Great is remembered as one of the most successful military commanders of all time. He never lost a single battle, but his life was not easy. He grew up in a violent world, faced betrayal, exhaustion, and even fear. Yet through intelligence, leadership, and ambition, he became a legend whose name we still remember today, more than 2,000 years later. Childhood and education. Alexander was born in 356 BC in Pella, the capital of Macedonia. His father, King Philip II, was a strong warrior who dreamed of conquering all of Greece. His mother, Olympias, told young Alexander that he was special, even claiming he was the son of a god. As a child, Alexander showed courage and curiosity. He loved reading about heroes like Achilles from Homer's epic, the Iliad. He dreamed of becoming a hero himself. When Alexander was 13, his father brought in a famous teacher, Aristotle. Aristotle was one of the greatest philosophers in history. Under him, Alexander learned philosophy, politics, science, medicine, and literature. But Aristotle also gave Alexander a love for knowledge, exploration, and leadership. The horse Bucephalus. One day a wild black horse was brought to the palace. The horse was powerful but dangerous. No one could control it, and the king's men gave up. But young Alexander noticed the horse was afraid of its own shadow. He calmly turned the horse toward the sun, climbed on its back, and rode it with confidence. From that day, Bucephalus became his loyal companion in battles. This moment showed Alexander's bravery and intelligence. King Philip was so impressed that he said, "My son, Macedonia is too small for you. You must find a kingdom worthy of your greatness." These words stayed in Alexander's heart forever. Becoming king. In 336 BC, tragedy struck. King Philip was assassinated. At just 20 years old, Alexander became king of Macedonia. Many enemies thought the young king would fail. Rebellions broke out across Greece. But Alexander acted quickly. He crushed the revolts and showed his power. At Thebes, he destroyed the city to send a message. No one should challenge him. The rest of Greece submitted to his rule. The Persian campaign begins. Alexander now looked beyond Greece. His father had dreamed of conquering Persia, the greatest empire of the time. Alexander decided to fulfill that dream. In 334 BC, he crossed the Hellespont, today's Dardanelles, into Asia with 40,000 soldiers. He visited the legendary site of Troy, honoring Achilles, his childhood hero. This was the beginning of a historic campaign. Battle of the Granicus, 334 BC, at the Granicus River. Alexander fought his first major battle against the Persians. The Persian army waited on the opposite bank, confident in their numbers. Alexander charged fearlessly across the river, leading his cavalry. After a fierce fight, the Persians were defeated. The Greek cities of Asia Minor welcomed Alexander as a liberator. The Battle of Issus, 333 BC. Next, Alexander faced King Darius III himself at Issus. Darius brought a massive army, far larger than Alexander's. But Alexander's strategy and courage turned the tide. He led a direct attack, forcing Darius to flee the battlefield. Darius's family was captured, but Alexander treated them with respect. This showed his nobility as well as his strength. The Siege of Tyre, 332 BC. Alexander then marched to the city of Tyre, a fortress built on an island. For 7 months the city resisted, but Alexander refused to give up. He ordered a massive causeway to be built across the sea. Finally, his army broke through and captured Tyre. This victory proved his determination. No obstacle could stop him. Conquering Egypt. After Tyre, Alexander marched into Egypt. The Egyptians welcomed him as a liberator from Persian rule. In 331 BC, he founded the city of Alexandria, which later became a great center of learning and culture. He was even declared the son of the god Amun in the temple of Siwa Oasis. This increased his reputation as a divine leader. The Battle of Gaugamela, 331 BC. The final clash with Persia came at Gaugamela. Darius assembled a gigantic army, including war elephants and chariots. But Alexander's tactics were brilliant. He created gaps in the enemy lines and then struck directly at Darius. Once again, Darius fled. This victory marked the end of the Persian Empire. Alexander now ruled lands stretching from Greece to Babylon and Persia. Marched to India, but Alexander was not satisfied. He wanted to reach the ends of the world. He crossed into Central Asia, conquering Afghanistan and beyond. In 326 BC, he entered India. At the Hydaspes River, he faced King Porus, who commanded war elephants. The battle was fierce, fought in heavy rain. Alexander's army struggled, but his clever tactics brought victory. Impressed by Porus's bravery, Alexander made him an ally instead of an enemy. The return journey. After years of conquest, Alexander's soldiers were tired and homesick. When he wanted to march further east, they refused. Alexander agreed to return, but he took a dangerous route through the Gedrosian desert. Many soldiers died from heat and hunger. The death of Alexander. In 323 BC, Alexander returned to Babylon, but soon he fell seriously ill. At only 32 years old, he died suddenly. Some say it was fever, others believe it was poison. No one knows for sure. His empire stretched from Greece to India, the largest the world had ever seen at that time. But after his death, his generals divided it into smaller kingdoms. Otru. Alexander the Great lived only 32 years, but achieved more than most could in a lifetime. He never lost a battle. He showed that courage, determination, and vision can change history. But his story also reminds us that even the greatest leaders are human, and life is short. The lesson of Alexander's life is clear. Dream big, work hard, and never be afraid to face challenges. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to English Through Stories, and share it with others. See you in the next story.